Hello, everyone. I'm Chester44, also known as Fly, and welcome to this Let's Play of Wrath of the Righteous. Last episode, we went back to the Citadel and dealt with some crusade things, including meeting with the Diplomatic Council and the Logistics Council, councils which consist of representatives from the city as well as some of our companions. It does strike me how hilarious it would be if Ivu was on the Diplomatic Council. I would actually love that, but unfortunately I don't think she'll be on any council. Actually, no. Even better, put her on the Logistics Council. She'll make sure everyone has sweets. Anyway, while I would continue to the next day, everyone is tired and we need to get a rest down. So I can quickly do that. Yeah, change it to a hearty meal. Nice and easy. Begin resting.
Let me teach you a good Galarian song. You know, where I come from, there's a saying. If you want to understand a foreign people, learn their songs.
That is surprising. Yes, I'd like to try. Go on.
Alright, fair enough. And it's the next day. Hail, Commander! Before you, an aged yet fit and sturdy Garundi stands at attention. His dark skin has an earthy tone to it, and crystals sparkle forth from where his hair and eyebrows should be, clearly identifying him as an Oriad. Let me give a different voice. Captain Hartman, chair of your staff council by order of Her Majesty Queen Galfrey, here to deliver a report. I'm on this council too, Seela salutes briskly. We'll be racking our brains on how to improve troop morale. I reckon the key is to back up our words with actions. Lead your soldiers by example, and they'll be eager to follow. Drawing on my experience as a paralictor, my advice is to maintain calculated moderation in every regard, be it in incentive or penalty, and to be decisive. We have no need for doubts or turmoil. I'm doomed to be your advisor, but do you know what that means? That you are doomed to listen to my advice. To start things off, here's an incredibly novel and deep thought for you. Loyalty, passion, and morale, all of these can easily be bought with money. Commander, permission to report. We've encountered a problem. Although we're still getting volunteers, we're now seeing cases of desertion. Many who joined the Dresden campaign believe that their duty has been fulfilled with the victory, and they are not keen on staying in the garrison. Those from Canabras wish to return home and rebuild their ruined city. Lastly, there are those who are afraid of lingering in a place where demons might show up with retaliatory expedition at any moment. My suggestion is to improve living conditions for the privates, raise their pay, give them extra rations, and reward those who have distinguished themselves on the battlefield with commendations and gifts. Soldiers don't want to leave armies that appreciate them. I feel for those folks, but we have to convince them to stay. I think we might get some help from the servants of the gods. They'll tell the soldiers that the danger has not yet passed and inspire them to keep up the fight against evil. As long as the wound is open, the whole world is in danger. We can't just go home and live like we used to, no matter how badly we want that to happen. Most of the Crusaders are volunteers, but they have no right to subvert military discipline. That kind of attitude is tantamount to treason, regardless of who expresses it. We have to identify the instigators, arrest them, and administer harsh punishment to make an example of them. This problem is quite simply solved with coin, but handing money out to privates is practically throwing it away. We need to pay the officers handsomely, and they'll figure out how to raise their subordinates' morale. Tell me, Captain, what does the Staff Council do? In short, we make sure that whenever orders are given, they are executed properly. Our job is to keep the soldiers' morale high, so they always follow their officers' commands without question. As for the officers themselves, we look out for any unseemly or incompetent types who subvert the troops' trust. I have questions for the council. Understood, Commander. Ask away. Seela, what do you bring to the council? Oh, it's pretty self-explanatory. We're not fighting for a sawmill here. This is a crusade against the Abyss. When you're up against demons, you bring a paladin. It's a rule that's tried and very much true. Fair enough. Regal, I know this answer, but what kind of help can I expect to get from you on the council?
I have extensive experience being in command, and as a Hell Knight, I possess a firmness that some of your other officers may be lacking. The essence of my counsel is not to spoil your troops, but to maintain their discipline strategically. Amidst the chaos of war, a general has to be a beacon of order and purpose for their soldiers. They will be just as grateful to receive rewards or lashes from such a general, and most importantly, they won't even think to disobey their orders.
Daeron, what are you doing on this council? Mostly I'm just waiting for it to end. But since I have little choice, I'll give you some advice on how to charm your subordinates, be they people of importance or simple commoners. I'll tell you the biggest secret straight away, free. Money. Gold has the most miraculous power there is. And Captain Hartman, why did the Queen appoint you to preside over this council?
I'd been in the Osirian infantry for 100 years, fighting for 3 pharaohs. Then, after I joined the Crusaders, I served Her Majesty Galfrey for 2 more decades. I dare to hope that I've gained decent experience over those years.
I see.
We're glad to serve.
Let's discuss our options in further detail.
As you command.
Sela, what's your plan? The situation is not that dire. Morale is high and we just won a major victory, so some have let down their guards. We have to call for priests and paladins to get it through to the volunteers that it's still early for celebration. If they leave for their homes today, Dresden will fall again tomorrow, and the day after, the demons will show up on their doorstep. Servants of the gods are indeed the masters of sweet-talking others into dying free of charge, all through pretty words. But when choice comes down to inspired preaching or homemade pies, 9 out of every 10 will look for comfort in their home and at their table. Their incentive needs to be more substantial than wasted breath. Regil, what do you suggest?
There is no place in the army for the mindset of playing soldier today than going home tomorrow. These dangerous ideas must be suppressed with the utmost harshness. We'll identify the most vocal rabble-rousers and exact punishment on them as an example to others. They may be volunteers, but they join the ranks of the Crusaders. We can't abet in their rejection of their responsibilities, or we'll be heading toward complete chaos, and therefore, defeat. That's a great plan if you want your soldiers to run back home twice as fast. They came here of their own volition. We must convince them to stay, not terrorize them into fighting. Daeron, your opinion? Our forces are in good spirits. It's just that the euphoria of victory has gone to a few heads. No one can sober them up quicker than the officers, especially those of lower rank. We'll give our dear oafs, all those sergeants and corporals, a bonus on the sly, then promise to sweeten the deal once they've convinced the volunteers to stay. Perhaps they will do so over a beer mug, or maybe with a broken nose. Why bother solving problems yourself when you can push them off on someone you pay? Your bought loyalty will run out even sooner than your gold. Once soldiers turn into profiteers, instead of following orders, they start appraising them. They'll wonder whether or not it's worth their while to obey their general. I hardly need to explain the effect this will have on discipline.
And Captain Hartman, what do you advise?
The volunteers believe that we've almost won. Great, let's not ruin this pretty illusion. Instead, we'll turn it to our advantage. We'll increase rations and pay for the privates, rewarding the most distinguished with commendations and gifts. Who would abandon the victors when they provide you with good food and even better coin? It's naive to expect the troops won't understand that we would just be trying to appease them. An army cannot stand if it's held together by handouts and desperate promises.
We shouldn't lie to our soldiers. If we build up flimsy illusions now, the demons will shatter them later. Those fighting alongside us must recognize the seriousness of the situation instead of celebrating victory when the war has just begun. Alright, so these are decrees again. For Sela, we get a repeatable decree that increases morale. For Regil, a repeatable decree that increases morale, reduces recruitment growth for trainable units, and mercenaries have... and the cost of mercenaries increases. That's terrible. Daeron's increases morale more, but has a financial cost. And for Hartman, Crusade morale increases for a small material cost. This one is a small increase in morale. I'm not going to use any of these decrees, most likely, because I keep morale fairly good. So let's think. Regal and Darren is almost certainly not going to happen. Regal, I am not going to be that harsh. Darren, bribing the officers, yeah, I can see where it wouldn't do too well. Which leaves Sela and Hartman. Either mobilize the priests and paladins to persuade people to stay, or give a pay raise and improve rations to everyone who fought in the fight and re-secure Dresden. I like that idea the most because it's not about providing an illusion that we're almost victorious. It's about congratulating those who fought in a battle to give us such a great thing. We managed to recapture Dresden, something that hasn't been done in past crusades for decades. This was a great thing, and it wouldn't have been done without the help of all the soldiers. Yes, sure, we ran up and killed the ash giants that were sieging everyone, and killed a number of demons, including running off that Baelor. But we wouldn't have gotten this far if it wasn't for the soldiers. Captain Hartman issued the privates a pay raise and improved rations. At once! I'll distribute the pay and rations right away. The commendation list won't take long either. We should see results shortly. Thank you, Commander. Should any difficulties arise that require your attention, I'll deliver a new report promptly. Thank you. The tall, gaunt half-elf salutes you solemnly. Commander, it's been an honor to call this first meeting of the Military Council to order. I am Captain Odan, and I've been serving under your command ever since the assault on the Grey Garrison. I will do my best to be of as much use to you as possible in this role. The foundations of the military is cold calculation and discipline. These are the principles I will seek to impart to the Crusaders. If we are to win this war, we must forget about mercy, for our enemies, for our troops, and for ourselves. Well, Commander, your sister Sela is no renowned general, but she spent half her life tussling with evil. Looks like I'll be stepping up on behalf of all of Iomede's faithful here. I hope my advice will prove useful. Demons aren't the first invaders to come to the lands of Sarkoris. I know this country, and I know how people used to fight here in the old days. Listen to me, War Chief, and I'll tell you how to turn the land itself into our ally. The first issue on the Military Council's agenda is the reorganization of troops. Our infantry has been bled dry. The forces Her Majesty granted to us were enough to take Dresden, but we need more troops to hold it. Furthermore, the army was assembled in great haste after the assault on Canabras, and was never adequately equipped. Unfortunately, we don't have much time for redeployment. Our scouts report that a powerful Baelor, Karamzadeh, is already preparing a retaliatory strike on Dresden. But we can rely on freshly conscripted Mendavian soldiers. They may not have the skill, but our strength, as always, lies in the number and the fervor of the volunteers joining the Crusades. We can't throw everyone into the meat grinder. We'll just get our youths killed for nothing. We need to select the best among the recruits, or even better, hold a contest. The bravest and the most capable will join the Crusaders. The death count is always highest in the infantry. Its purpose is to serve as a shield. It would be wise to invest our resources in hiring and training heavy footmen with shields to ensure maximum protection, even if it limits their mobility and makes them less threatening to the enemy. Oh, never enough folk. Same in war as it is in peacetime. We dealt with that problem by finding helpers among the animals. Why can't we do the same now? Strengthen the infantry with war dogs. One soldier with a dog at his side is more like 1.5 fighters. Maybe even 2. Captain Odan, what does the Military Council do? The Military Council determines the strategy for our troops, enacts army reforms, approves new equipment standards, and makes decisions on all issues regarding military action on the front lines. Who is this Baelor Karamzadeh? The most trusted servant of the Demon Lord Dascari. Among the historians of the Mendavian Crusades, he's known as the strategist of the World Wound.
He's not as renowned as Minago, the conqueror of Dresden, or Hepzimira, daughter of Baphomet, but he has claimed the most major victories over the forces of Mendev. He's a general, and quite possibly one of the best tacticians in the entire Abyss. I've been studying his style of warfare for years. He may seem like an ordinary demon, another typical war taskmaster, but that's a fallacy. Like a beast following a scent, he senses weaknesses in his enemy's defenses and strikes at them, sending soldiers to bring targeted carnage. His uncanny charisma attracts more and more soldiers to him, so he's never short on troops and sacrifices them like pawns whenever he pleases in order to achieve his victories. Karam-Zadeh is the face of the demon host. For many years I've been gathering research on him, preparing for the day our armies would clash with his once more. I hope my council will help you defeat him, but so far Karam-Zadeh has known no defeats. I have a question for my advisors. We're ready to answer any questions you may have, Commander. Sela, have you ever commanded an army before? Not on a scale like this, of course not. But I fought evil, and I know its tricks. Besides, war makes people callous, and it's always useful to have a paladin advisor around to remind you at a crucial moment what we're actually fighting for, right? Regil, I know the answer, but why do you wish to sit on the military council? I have command experience, and I intend to impart to the Crusaders at least a modicum of the discipline and rigidity of the Hell Knights. The quality of the Mendevian staff currently available to you leaves much to be desired. That much is certain. Ulbrig, do you have military experience? Do I have experience? Ha! I fought on this land back when it was still called Sarkoris. I led my clan on raids against our neighbors, drove invaders from our land, and I went to war with my band against orcs and giants. What kind of Sarkorian would I be if I stood on the sidelines now, eh? And who are you, Captain Odan? Captain Odan bows ceremoniously. I've served on the front lines of the Mendevian army for over 25 years, and in that time I've gained a wealth of combat experience. His voice sounds calm, but his face darkens at the mention of a wealth of combat experience. I'm considered one of the foremost experts on tactics and strategy in Queen Galfrey's officer corps. I've spent my whole life studying the craft of warfare, and I'm familiar with the thoughts of all prominent military leaders of the last 5 centuries. Furthermore, I wholeheartedly believe in the traditions of Mendev's military art, and will gladly share my knowledge with you, Commander. No more questions. Now let's hear your opinions. Sela, do we really need only the bravest and most capable for an infantry? I mean, we can't send untrained rookies to a slaughter. We have the right to command only those who are ready for battle, those who can defeat the enemy. We must find out who has the skill and the guts. Contests are perfect for that, and a little excitement for our warriors couldn't hurt either. We won't get that many winners, but their strength will come from their prowess, not their numbers. Your proposal would leave us with an infantry full of selfish risk-takers dreaming of glory and valor. That is bad material for a soldier. The infantry's role is to be a shield for the archers and mages. All they're required to do is follow orders and hold the line, unto victory or death. Ambitious loners cherry-picked through contest skill are not fit to perform this duty. Regil, why do you insist on shield bearers? The infantry is a meat shield intended to catch the blade of the opposing army in its flesh. The shield must be reliable. That is all that is required of it. That is why I would like to see well-armored shield bearers as our foot soldiers. We must have the option of pitting ranks of footmen against a tide of rampaging demons, knowing with certainty that they will not scatter or die until they have completed their task. Ulbrig, how will war dogs help our infantry? A loyal hound is more than just a set of sharp fangs. It's an extra pair of eyes, a keen nose, and another head in a way. It's no soldier, but it's extra fighting power. Since we can't get any more human warriors from anywhere, we should swell the ranks with 4-legged fighters. Ha ha! Captain Odan, you just want to gather up some recruits from Mendev? Yes. Institute a draft and try to amass as many new soldiers from Mendev and other lands as we can. We've always drawn our strength from our zeal and our determination to oppose evil. If we start holding contests or selections, we'll turn a holy crusade into a job for the chosen few and scare away future volunteers. We try changing our tried and true tactics, we'll lose valuable time. Our army is in need of fresh blood right now. Alright, so our options...
Each one of these provides different things. As you saw with the previous groups. I don't remember all of them. Some of them provide decrees, some may provide buildings or things like that. Some provide boosts to your armies. This will change the soldiers and units that we have. In this case, our choice is for our infantry. No longer will we have the weak basic footmen. We'll have one of these others. Our options are champions, shield bearers, hound masters, or conscripts. Shield bearers, no. Shield bearers are very tanky and can survive most hits, but they do very little damage. And frankly, there isn't really a way to manage aggro. You throw the shield bearers out there, there's a good chance the enemy is just going to avoid them entirely, run to someone else, and the shield bearers are going to be pointless. So no, Regil, we're not using the shield bearers. Conscripts are weak, but they can be recruited en masse. They're the Zerg plan. The hire hundreds and hundreds of men and send them all to their death. Not a good idea. Hound Masters. I don't know much about these. Okay. They can summon a number of dogs equal to what they have. So they've got 45 hit points and their damage is 4 to 9. Champions have 23 hit points but do 15 to 25 damage. Plus a high chance of doing critical damage. So compare that to the shield bearers who do 3 to 8 but have a ton of health. Okay, so that's the difference. Hound Masters and the Army Hounds do 7 to 10 with 33 hit points. And the recruit and the conscripts are... okay, they don't do much damage. So basically, the Hound Masters summon an extra group, although I think that probably takes a turn, which puts more people on the... puts another group on the battlefield to do damage. Or we can have the champions who just... they're glass cannons, but they do so much damage. I'm going with the champions. We'll hold contests and select the most proficient warriors. A cheeky smile blossoms on Sela's face. You know, I think I might hit the arena once or twice myself to test the rookies. It'll be a nice warm-up. Captain Odan salutes you formally. Thank you for your time, Commander. When the reforms are finished and the ranks of our infantry are replenished, I will assemble the military council to discuss new decisions. Indeed. And with that, I am going to end this episode here. Next episode, we have more Crusade affairs to manage. Yes, I know this was a little shorter, but considering how long the last episode was, it's fine. Next episode, more Crusade management. Till then, I am Chester44, also known as Falai. That is me. This has been a Let's Play of Wrath of the Righteous, and I shall see you all next time.